like watching the night sky or a beautiful sunrise. There's so much they hold, and just like the old stars, I see that you've come so far to be right where you are. How bold is your soul? I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, and when you're needing your space to do some navigating, I'll be here patiently waiting to see what you find. 'Cause even the stars, they burn. Some even come to the earth, and we've got a lot to learn, and God knows we're worth it. No, I won't give up. I don't want to be someone who walks away so easily. I'm here to stay and make the difference that I can make. Our differences, they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got. Yeah, we got a lot at stake. And in the end, you are my friend. And yes, we did intend for us to work. We didn't break, we didn't burn. We had to learn how to bend without our world caving in. I had to learn what I got and what I'm not and who I am. And I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, still looking up. I won't give up on us. God knows I'm tough enough, and we've got a lot to learn, and God knows we're worth it. I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up.
Take a moment to relax into the eternal peace that your heart holds. Allow yourself to ground into this peace. And allow this peace to expand throughout all of your consciousness. Take your time and allow anything that is out of alignment with this peace to fall away. And give yourself all the presence, all the love, and all of the awareness that you need now. It's safe for you to let go of any judgment or any control or any places within you where you're not allowing peace to set you free. You were created free. You were created in love. And it's safe to awaken to this love now. It's safe to open up completely to this love now. You can now let everything that doesn't align with your new choices so fall away. And allow complete peace to be the reality that you choose to live in. Complete joy, complete love, and allow this love to fulfill and strengthen your consciousness completely. It's safe to allow old thoughts and beliefs to fall away. You're protected by God's love. You'll be shown your next steps by being here now, being present now, and accepting your reality as it is in this moment. You can now make that choice and bring all of this peace and healing with you from this point forward. Thank you and namaste.
Hi, we're Stan and Johanna. Welcome in the card reading for the Church of Union. Today we are drawing cards from the card deck.
Archangel Power Tarot cards from Radley Valentine.
Yeah. So do you want to show them the
Yeah,
first
so
card?
first card is 10 of Gabriel. Ask your angels for helpful people to lighten your load. Working too many hours, trying too hard to please others. Yeah. It's a card Harry pulled. There's a woman, you see her, yeah, and an angel next to her.
So what do you get from that card?
Yeah. It's like staying in tune with yourself, staying present with yourself, like what feels good to you, what feels doable for you, and that you make your relationship with God and with yourself and your happiness and your well-being your primary focus, your primary priority, instead of like physical progress, instead of things externally moving forward, because how we truly ever move forward is by feeling good, by having our internal being aligned with God and ourselves.
Yeah.
You have something else?
No, I think you covered it all for that one.
Yeah. Next card is 5 of Gabriel. This one.
And it said here, a challenge you can resolve, withdraw from the drama of others, have patience with yourself and those around you. Yeah, that's the card.
Yeah, to me, that card actually says how powerful you truly are, and because sometimes we forget it, how powerful our power of choice is. And sometimes we tend to get pulled into like drama or feelings of other people. But you just need to remember yourself there that you're not responsible for the choices or the actions or the experiences of other people. And that is actually very loving to yourself. So once you draw back to your own choices and drawing board, you see here like a checkerboard or a drawing board, like then you have your own life back in your hands,
in your order, right?
Yeah.
Staying in your own energy field, knowing what's yours, what's not yours.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's
having healthy boundaries.
That you have healthy boundaries indeed, and that you have back the mastery over your own life.
Yeah, you have power, right, with your own choices and what you allow, what you don't allow, how much energy you give it or don't give it.
Yeah.
It's on you.
Yeah, just remember that actually you can only give your power away when you give power to limiting beliefs or misalignments that are not of God. And once you realize that nobody can ever control you, or that you cannot even resolve the feelings or drama or experiences of other people, that's very powerful and very truthful for you, because then you realize that you only are responsible for you, and that's your only job that you need to do, and that's enough.
Yeah, exactly. Let other people take responsibility for them. Yeah, it's safe to do so. So the third card that we pulled is Queen of Raphael. It said here as well. So Queen of Raphael, it stands for, or that card, the additional meaning is kind, understanding, giving, and psychic. So it said here, it's also a green card. Follow your heart, a love of home and family, trustworthy psychic information.
Yeah, it's actually like that you are always focused from living from your heart. And why that's important is because if you live a heart-centered life, you are connected with your soul, with who you truly are. And like there you will find also the communication with God and with your true self. And like you can always follow your intuition there.
You can follow your bliss, right? Like Jeff and Shaleia teach, follow your joy, listen to your soul, listen to God's guidance. It's safe to trust because all the answers really truly lie within you, and it's safe to go your path that's meant for you and God. It might look unique, but that's good. That's you and God.
Yeah, it's not to say that you cannot get answers on the outside, but the answers on the outside are actually just a remembrance of what you already knew on the inside, or what is actually buried, to say it like that, on the inside, in the chamber of truths. So you're a magnificent library full of knowledge, wisdom, and truth, because you're just one with God. And once you connect with your heart and with your soul, you gain access to that. So it's very important to start trusting yourself and live from your heart center.
Yeah, so to wrap it up, like, be honest with yourself on how much you can really do, what really feels good to you, or look into ways how you can resolve it to free up more time for yourself or to feel good, and which necessary changes you need to implement in your life. The other card that we had is to,
yeah, 5 of Gabriel, that was actually that you take
Mm-hmm.
back responsibility for your life, and that you are only responsible for your life, and that you actually take a distance or a step back from the creations or experiences or emotions from other people, that you get clear what are your emotions and what is truly yours and what is not.
Yeah, and the last card that we had is just to follow your heart, to your intuition, and follow God, the good feeling, Fred. Yeah, good. So this was today's card reading. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of the Sunday service.
Welcome to this week's Sunday service. We hope you all had a great Easter. We're Adam and Brienne, Twin Flames in Harmonious Union, and we're here to introduce Jose Michaela's sermon on the formula for divine relationships. Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, every sermon is spot on. It's absolutely perfect. And I just want to thank Jose and Michaela for sharing their experiences and providing the gift of this sermon. I resonate with it on so many levels because, well, one thing that Michaela said in the sermon that just made me laugh is that she said, well, first off, the foundation of unionism is having one relationship, and that relationship is with God, which extends out into all relationships that you have in your reality. And yeah, it just doesn't include, people. Like, those relationships go deeper into, as Michaela said, cooking and cleaning. And so something that she said in the sermon that really humored me is that she turned on a class, a Twin Flame Ascension School class, and Jeff said, "Welcome to Twin Flame Ascension School, where you come to learn how to have a relationship." And as funny as that is, there's of course a lot of truth in it. The reason that hit home for me is because, when I personally found Jeff and Shaleia, I had an idea that I knew what it meant to have a relationship. And just like Michaela shares, is I thought that having a relationship with someone meant I'm coming to the table to get something. I'm going to get, validation, attention. Like, I'm here to, what's in it for me? I'm here to get energy. And I'm also here to, of course, in that, that the other person would be coming to get something from me. And what we are taught through unionism is that having that one relationship with God is actually you coming to the table and asking yourself, what can I give in this relationship? What gift can I provide? And knowing that in your giving, you're going to receive in that relationship in kind. And it feels very harmonious and very peaceful in cultivating those divine relationships with all things in your life.
Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate a bit more on, how we were taught relationships. We're like, what can I get from this? And, how the relationship works. But it's kind of like you're pretty powerless in that then, if you're always kind of like waiting for the other person and what can I gain here and these things, right? So I love this sermon and how it's kind of like, gives you kind of steps as well and how it works. Because like, in this divine way, we can have, there's, where your role is and what you can do when, there's not a balanced, giving and receiving in that relationship and boundaries, right? Yeah. And I love what Jose was saying about he was feeling before, if he had too many boundaries, he was feeling like, well, I'm going to be alone. So I'm going to have to adjust, according to that. And that was my experience too. I was feeling, family, that's, the thing. So you got to just, kind of keep the relationships going there. You kind of do your thing and friendships, right, as well. And kind of well, you're not going to get it all. And when they were saying also that when you choose harmonious union, you choose kind of perfection in everything, love in everything. And suddenly you have relationships falling away, you haven't even really done anything or anything haven't really happened. And suddenly people are just skedaddling out of your life, right? So
yeah, because when we're choosing, you know, the path of ascension, the path of unionism as taught by Jeff and Shaleia, anything that is in your reality in relationship to you that is not vibrating in harmony, it's naturally going to transcend. It's going to vibrate out of your reality. But in that transcending of, you're making room for having that harmonious and peaceful relationship in whatever it is. And I really loved, kind of caveating off of what you were saying, what Jose shared, is that Jose also mentioned too, that in relationship with God, God very much values himself. God very much respects himself. And in that, there are rules. And it's not us to control the relationship that we have with God. It's for us to relax into the relationship that's always been there. And, you know, somewhere along the lines, we forgot, you know, the truth of that relationship. And so God has rules and standards put in place. And we, if we are trying to control that relationship with God, we're going to feel very uncomfortable. But the moment that we relax into those rules and or standards, as you could call it, we're actually happy. And it's God really teaching us how to value ourselves and respect ourselves as God does himself or herself. And that actually feels really good because we're one with God. We're not separate. We're, created by God, and we're one with God's will.
Yeah, and I think boundaries comes into that, very nicely. And like you have the power to create in your reality in that sense, right? Like if there's a relationship that don't work, like you can make some new choices. Like what kind of relationships do you want in your life? And and you'll see like your relationship shifts and change because of that, right? Because if you're keeping those relationships where you constantly have to like leak your energy to it, what is that doing for your life? What is that doing for your journey, right? And that's not what God wants. And sometimes, that boundaries comes into play, right?
Yeah.
Like you put up a boundary and then, the relationship will change in some way, right? Because, the people in the relationship, whoever it is, they have to how does these new rules work, right? Because it was functioning in one way before and now it's going to be functioning in a different way.
Yeah, like as you were saying that, it just reminds me of something that Jeff and Shaleia have shared before, is that if there's a relationship that you're having and there's taking that's involved, let's say maybe that person was taking or having a relationship with you and they were receiving something in some way, and you identify, oh, there's an energy leak here in the relationship. Let me put up a boundary here and honor and respect myself. And they're going to reveal themselves. Are they actually there to go deeper with you and to love, or were they just there to take all along? And then they will, move out of your vibration. And so, that's another important thing too that Jose and Michaela shared, is that we're always revealing relationships. We're always revealing, we're revealing ourselves to ourselves as well as those in our reality. Are you here to love me? Are you here for God? The foundation of a relationship is God. Is that what you're here for, or are you not? And it feels really good. It feels like a constant cleansing, which feels really like it just feels very relieving.
Yeah. And how can you reveal a relationship if you can't be yourself? If you feel like you're kind of like constantly, well, I can't put up that boundary because always having to be, how would you know the truth of that relationship before you were fully yourself and fully just kind of like giving yourself to the relationship, because sometimes you got to go all in to see what's there, right? Yeah.
All right, this feels good. So we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's sermon by Jose and Michaela.
Hello everyone, welcome back to this week's Sunday service. We are Jose and Michaela. Please join us for our opening ohms and our opening prayer.
I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word.
Today I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation.
In Christ's name, Amen.
So welcome back to another wonderful Church of Union Sunday sermon. We have a great topic to talk about today. We are going to talk about the importance of healthy relationships and the importance of relationships in general on your ascension path and on your twin flame journey and just within the teachings of the Church of Union. And for me, when we were reflecting on this service and what we were going to talk about, relationships is something that we're always working on. And it's just something that's very important to like any area of success in your life. But ultimately what I've learned through this teaching is that it all comes down to relationship, and that all relationships in your life are really one relationship, and that's your relationship with God. And for me, before I found this work, I literally didn't understand the importance of relationships. I didn't really have really very good examples of what relationships were. I didn't understand like how to have a healthy relationship. You know, like I feel like I had a few like decent relationships in my life, but most of them weren't very good. And I didn't understand that like a relationship is something that you bring your whole presence to and you give to, you know, and it's very important to maintaining your life and like a good life. It's having relationships, healthy ones.
Yeah, I guess for me, before finding this work, I guess I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. Like you don't have, you know, the standard, and maybe the standard that you have is not actually real or very healthy. Is what they taught you to be healthy, but some things are not really. So today we want to speak about that and how important it is to purify in this area, in your ascension journey. Because if you are only having one relationship and it's with God, you want to master that. And this is something that Jeff and Shaleia said in one Tifa's class, if I remember, that if you just have your relationship with God, you need to figure that out. Yeah.
It's something unavoidable. You know? And, I was also watching a Tifa's class recently where Jeff says that welcome to Twin Flame Ascension School, where you learn how to have a relationship, you know, and then they left, but it was true. Like that is, like you can't have like a relationship with your twin flame, for example, if you don't have a relationship with God first. And that's of course like the basis of the teachings of union, is how to relate to God, how to cultivate a personal relationship in your heart, and not just in your heart, but in all of life. And yeah, like that's one of the most beautiful, valuable things that I've learned from being a student of Jeff and Shaleia and of unionism, is that relationships are everything. You know, wherever in your life that you are hoping to find success, whether it's in your, you know, your harmonious union, in your marriage, you know, with your partner, or in your life purpose work, relationships are completely like the thing. If you don't have good relationships, you don't really have anything. And yeah, I mean, this is not really like a new topic in the world. Like there are plenty of like success people or business people who talk about that, like, your relationships are what's really important. Like your relationships are what pays you and all of that. So,
it's everything in your life.
Everything.
Yeah, so you need to figure that out. And yeah, like something that the teachings of union shows you is that the relationship with yourself is the primary one with God.
Yeah.
Those two. And you need to really focus on those. And that is what allows you to have a healthy relationship with your twin flame or with whatever. Because I remember for me at the beginning, you don't really know what a healthy relationship is. And because you don't know that, I remember for me, like, you know, having your twin flame, for example, looks so difficult and so impossible, maybe. But once you know the rules of the relationship, how is to relate in a healthy way to God and to yourself is so natural, right? Like, oh yeah, you change your perspective and then you have a change in your relationships. And it's a very beautiful thing when you are really applying this teaching and healing your relationships, because sometimes you don't see the beauty that you already have in your life and you start to really appreciate the people that really love you. Maybe you don't see that yet because there is some healing to be done there. Maybe you are pushing some love away. Who knows what the experience that you are having is. But if you keep working at it, you are going to discover who is really with you, who is really loving you all the time. And yeah, you realize that is God always loving you. And this is something that I really love about this teaching, is that it uses everything in your life to teach you. And I guess this is a very important thing, is every relationships in your life, even the bad ones or the unhealthy ones,
or the challenging
ones, all of them are teaching you something. And that is the benefit that you can have, is learn from them. Even the bad ones or the challenging ones, that's where the learning comes from. Are you going to learn to handle those? Or are you going to, you know, kind of avoiding them? It doesn't work. When you face them and when you learn that,
reveal the relationship,
you get so good at this. And you can relax in the ones that you have in your life because you have revealed them at the core. And that's very satisfying and gives you a lot of peace and relief.
Yeah, and when you do reveal a relationship and you you reveal that it's not in alignment with love, that's, you know, when you let the relationship go, or you set boundaries wherever there's not love. And I feel that in this work, like Jeff and Shaleia, mostly throughout TFES, really role model that very well. I think that a lot of people have numbness when it comes to relationships and how it is actually okay to be treated and how it's not okay to be treated.
Yeah.
And I did in the beginning. And so when I saw, you know, Jeff and Shaleia were very firm in their boundaries, you know, and you see this throughout TFES, like students coming and going, or they talk about their relationship with their families, you know, and how they had to leave their families, or you know, like really very, like, once a relationship reveals itself as in alignment with love or not, like you let it go unequivocally. And of course, like, that person always has the ability to make a new choice, but they would have to prove it. But anyway, I think because I had a lot of numbness around relationships, I didn't fully understand why it had to be so drastic, you know. But yeah, like, every single relationship in your life is, you know, like, it's a sign to the universe about what you choose in your reality, you know. So if you choose your harmonious twin flame union, every single relationship that you have is gonna get transformed, you know, and it's going to be revealed as being in alignment with love or not. Because making the choice to ascend your consciousness and have harmonious union, it does uproot everything out of alignment with that choice in your life, and everything is going to change. The moment you make that choice, everything starts to change.
Yeah, I really agree with this numbness in relationships, and for me it was the same. I was wondering sometimes, why do you need so much, like, detail into your relationship? Because I was used to allow things here and there, abuse basically. And I remember something that really changed for me is when I did MAP. And I remember I was very numbed, and I was like, something feels bad here, but no, it's okay. Like, is still in my reality. And I remember after healing that at the core, I started to feel all the things about the relationship. I was like, oof, I didn't see that before.
Wasn't loving.
Exactly, that was not loving before. That was not in alignment with me. And in the Tifa's class that I was watching, Jeff is asking, telling how the question that you should be asking all of your relationships is, do you support the divine on me? And that's what you are looking for, is if you are pursuing the ascension journey, if you are choosing your harmonious union, everything must support that. You cannot have two directions in your life.
Because if there's any relationship or even like, I don't know, detail in your life that's not supporting your harmonious twin flame union, it is taking your energy. It's like, this is why your harmonious union is referred to as like a container that you invest your energy into. Well, if you have a relationship that doesn't support the divine in you and doesn't support your harmonious union, all of that love that you're investing into your twin flame journey is getting leaked away in this area. And so you can't build and grow. And so yeah, like every little detail does matter. And I just watched a life purpose class yesterday, and I can't remember which one, but Jeff said that every little detail in your life matters. You know, the relationship you have with your people, you know, your personal relationships, the relationship you have with cooking and cleaning, and it doesn't matter. All of these things must be handled and resolved, because if they're not being handled and resolved, then you're burning out in that space. You know, your relationship with whatever it is, if it's not divine, it's going to be sucking, you know, your energy, your union from you. And so yeah, it needs to be handled. And I guess that is kind of the ascension path. It's you just resolve every problem, you know, you're having a relationship with everything in your life. And so you want to bring God into that, you know, into every area of your life. Even something as small as what seems like cooking and cleaning, like those are actually hugely important aspects of your life, and you have a relationship with those things.
Yeah, exactly. And you work on all of them equally, because you really want to have like that choice, because this is something that you are communicating to God. It's like, I allow this in my life, or I allow this other thing, or I choose this. And when you are choosing to be with God, you can only accept God in your life. You cannot accept ego or separation or fear or pain, whatever, because then you are making the opposite choice. You are not choosing really what you want. If you are choosing your harmonious union, you need to choose love in your life.
In all areas.
In all areas, not only enough areas, in all of them. And that's really what you want to have, is love in everything. Because when you choose to have love in everything, you experience it. And you can grow it. I remember for me, at the beginning, I remember having this fear of like boundaries. I was like, oh my God, if I'm very firm and strict with boundaries, I will be alone. Like, I cannot be around anyone because it's too much. But that's the lie. That's the biggest lie. That if you put boundaries, you get alone. No, you get honored and you get respected. And when you have that, you can actually relate to the people that are in the same level as you, like that respect you, that honor you, and love you. And that is so much better. It's so worth it to have that. And you are loving everyone by showing that to them, like, hey, I'm teaching you how to relate properly here. And this is what a boundary is, basically. You are just loving them in the way that they need. And everyone is gaining something from the experience. You are protecting and honoring your union, your energy, your life, basically, and teaching others to do the same. The example that I use sometimes to explain this is, mind that you have like your house is totally clean, totally organized, and it's perfect to the detail. Will you let someone with dirty shoes enter? Just like that, in your house. That's how you should treat relationships. It's like, no, that's not okay. First, you take the shoes off. You clean that, and now you can enter. But it's with that condition, and you put that standard in your relationship. And I have noticed that the more that you hear and apply this teaching, the more refined you get in that.
So you become like more sensitive.
Yeah, you can become more sensitive to that boundaries, and I get to understand more why you need to have perfection and aim for perfection in that area. I remember in one of the classes, Jeff told the class, good boundaries are not enough, you need to have perfect boundaries with everything. And it's perfect boundaries with separation and with fear. You are not leaving anything out. You are not leaving people out. It's only the separation and whatever is aligned with that. And that shows God, hey, I'm a safe investment.
Yeah, I will never like bargain with ego. Like
exactly.
Basically in all relationships, there should be no room for ego. And I feel that this is something that many people, and I think divine feminines work on, you know, is like not tolerating any bad behavior, you know, in exchange for having like your man around, or in exchange for having like a relationship. I mean, not just divine feminines, everyone goes through that, but yeah, like you don't have to ever tolerate being mistreated by anyone just for the security of the relationship, you know, like you don't need anyone or anything but God, and that's the only thing that you should choose to honor above all other things, and not make like little deals with ego in your relationships.
Because you are looking for security, but if you analyze it, you don't really have security at all.
No.
Because you are depending on someone that maybe doesn't have the best intention for you. Exactly. And if you feel into it, it's very unstable.
Yeah.
And you can feel into the other part. Mind that you choose what you want.
Yeah.
You choose to be aligned with love only. Love is stable. And you are going to be stable, you are going to be peaceful, because you know that everything that aligns with that is nice, is good for you, and you accept it in your life, and that is very relieving. It's like, only good stuff can enter in my life, only good relationships can be here, and that's where you have the fun and you can relate.
Yeah, like every single communication that you make to the universe, that you only choose love and you will not choose to compromise in any way, then you'll just keep attracting that. And another thing about relationships that's coming up is the importance of honoring relationships with your gurus, or with, I mean, just basically honoring your relationships, you know, on the other end of that, you know, it's like you have to respect the people in your life that love you. You know, if you want to remain in a relationship, like there are rules to it's a relationship with God, but there are rules to being in a relationship with God, and God values himself, and this is what all of Twin Flame Ascension School and like Purpose class, and I mean all of the courses are about your relationship with God, and that you don't just get to do whatever you want. Like you don't make the rules in the relationship. God makes the rules, and you either choose to align or not. And if you're choosing at your core to align with God and your relationship with God, you're going to naturally align with Jeff and Shaleia, you know, your gurus, or, you know, anyone else who's in alignment with that at the core. And it's really important that you take care of those relationships. The way that you treat other people really matters, you know, and like it's important that you honor and respect and give to and nurture the divine and people that you love, you know, like it's important to also, like, it's not all about like, oh, this person, I set boundaries, you know, with everyone. No, like you want to really love the people that you love, you know, and who love you, and really choose to cultivate the relationship in whatever way it's appropriate and feels good.
Yeah, and treating it that way, there is a person at the other side of the relationship. It's not only about you.
Yeah, it's not all about you.
Exactly, it's not about you. And when you make it about you, it feels very bad. It's like, it's about their relationship. It's about God in the relationship.
I feel like that's kind of like the core, is like society teaches you that it's all about as much as you can get, you know, like get, you know, and that's the ego's form of relationship. It's like how much good or energy you can get from this person or this thing. But that's not a divine relationship. And that's what I thought relationships were when I found this work, is like, it's about me, and it's about how I feel, and it's about what I receive from the person that I think is my twin flame, you know. But you let go of selfishness. If you're serious about, you know, this work and ascending in your harmonious union, you realize that it is not all about you, and that's not even fulfilling when it is all about you. You know, it's actually very sad and unfulfilling, because it's about God, and God is in everyone.
And imagine being in the other side of the stick. and being the one that you are like being taken from all the time is not good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's part of treating God properly, is treating God's children properly and recognizing that God is your source, and you find fulfillment first.
Yeah.
And then you can relate in a healthy way, and you can be having a good time in that relationship.
Yeah, it's always about giving, never taking, you know, and that's the core of having a relationship. It's about giving and giving, and when you need, you set a boundary, you know, where you're not receiving in kind, because that's the whole thing is like, when you give, you receive, and that's how you have a balanced relationship. There is giving and receiving. There's benefit. Both parties benefit. But if there's no benefit for you or for the other person, then a boundary is necessary. And if you have to set a boundary, like, it's important to honor that and not to disrespect yourself by allowing, you know, yourself to be taken from. And it's also important to, if you have the boundary placed upon you, to heal that, you know, to make a new choice and choose to honor God and give, you know, give to God. And that's how you have really good relationships with not just your twin flame, but with all the people in your life, you know, whatever your purpose is, whatever your passions are, it's relationship is at the core. It's how you relate, you know, it should be in, you know, that is your relationship with yourself.
It's all important.
Giving, giving to yourself, not taking from yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, something that I want to talk about before ending is about these rules that you mentioned. And, you know, it's not like to relate to God, you do whatever you want. No. There is like some rules
and you control God and...
Yeah, and you try to control, and I guess like, you think that those rules are for some egocentric reasons. You like
to control.
To control you, you think that God is controlling you or controlling how it should be or something like that, and there can be a lot of upsets about it. But once you realize that those rules are literally for you to be happy, are literally for making you good. It's like there is a rule that you are not like meeting maybe, and you are suffering, you are having a bad time. So God is like, hey, change.
Discipline.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to get upset or caught up in that. Like you just, it's an opportunity to make a new choice.
Exactly. And those rules make you really be happy and fulfilled in relationships.
Not leak
have
energy.
Peace, don't leak energy. And once you realize that they are for your benefit, literally, you embrace them. And once you embrace all of those like relationships, like love in the relationship, you embrace God in the relationship, and you are open to be taught. It's like, hey, what I'm doing wrong here? Let me change. Let me make a new choice. That's very healthy, and you get very happy because you can relate in a proper way.
Yeah, it's about what you can give, not what you can get. And that's the core of like healthy relationships with yourself and with God in your heart and with your twin flame.
Yep. Well, that feels complete for me.
Yeah, that's complete.
Good. So we can finish with the closing prayer and the closing alms. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you.
I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him.
In Christ's name, Amen.
Speaking this prayer in your heart means you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator.
Let's move now into the closing alms. You can loud or in your heart.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this week's Sunday sermon. We will see you next week.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Welcome back. This was a great sermon. Yeah, what came up for you here?
Well, something that come up for me as I was watching the sermon and going deeper and really assessing the relationships in my life, something that kind of come to my consciousness was something Jeff and Shaleia shared. I don't know if it was in a class or maybe it was a live class, but somewhere they shared that in their home is, in a sense, like, well, it's an extension of them and their relationship with God, and it's their temple. And in their temple, everything in their home, down to the littlest, the littlest, what would you call it?
Detail,
the littlest details, everything has purpose and meaning. There's nothing in their home, within every single corner of the house, that does not have meaning and purpose and that has not been blessed. And I just really love that. It feels really beautiful how they're so refined in their home, and that being that extension of their relationship with God, and really just like allowing God to decorate their home.
And it doesn't leave room for a lot of clutter either.
Exactly, because God is not clutter.
No.
And so it also reminds me of a class, a TFAS class, where I believe Shaleia had said that she asked God, what lipstick or what would you like me to wear today? And she just allowed God to, dress her and guide her makeup. And it turned out beautiful, of course. And so just all these beautiful ways that you can deepen in your relationship with God. And so I incorporate that into our home as well, just refining ourselves, and allowing it to be a sacred temple. Like, this is God's apartment.
Yep.
This is God's home. And so just allowing God to guide when it comes to decorating or rearranging things or taking things out and bringing things in just feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we invite you to join the after church tea time. That's going to be streamed live after the service in the Unionism Spiritual Discussion Group. A group of panelists will discuss today's sermon and go deeper there. So we invite you to join.
Bring your coffee or your tea.
Yeah, it's all good. And we also invite you to visit unionism.org to watch previous sermons and donate in tithe. So you can help spread unionism's message to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a long sentence. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you for watching. Namaste.
God bless.